Ladies and gentlemen, today is Monday, 5th of February 2024. This is the Voice of Turkey's English language transmission, broadcasting from Ankara in the 22-meter band between 1330 and 1430 UTC on 13635 kHz to Europe. You can listen to us over the T-Sat 3A and 4A satellites and on the internet at www.trt.net.tr through the Voice of Turkey link. Our email address is englishdesk@trt.net.tr. Following the news and the review of the Turkish press, the Voice of Turkey will present our feature programs, the Energy Agenda, That's Why, followed by some Turkish music. Begin, let's have a quick look at the headlines. Foreign Minister Fidan warns of an escalation of conflict in the Middle East. U.S. base in Syria comes under drone attack from Iranian-backed groups. A Russian military threat directed towards a NATO member country, Stoltenberg says. Trump says Israel was involved in plan to assassinate Qasem Soleimani, and Belgian farmers take to the streets protesting agricultural policies. And now details of the news. Expressing his concerns about the controlled conflict between the United States and Iran, Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan said, quote-unquote, the situation is not good. We may face a further expansion of conflict. Foreign Minister Fidan assessed the current agenda and addressed questions during a television program. In response to a question about the U.S. attacks on Iran-backed groups, Fidan emphasized that the U.S. is playing with fire, adding, quote-unquote, when you play with fire, it can turn into a wildfire at any moment. It may not be controllable. We are facing a risk here, and the inability to control it poses a threat. Fidan highlighted ongoing discussions with regional partners and the U.S. and said, quote-unquote, we need to avoid regional expansion. The situation is not good. We may face a larger escalation. The U.S. Department of Defense announced that at least 85 targets belonging to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Quds Force and affiliated militia groups were struck in airstrikes in Syria and Iraq the previous night. Additionally, 36 points and 13 regions in Yemen were targeted in attacks. Speaking about Turkey's long-standing accession bid into the European Union, Foreign Minister Fidan asked if the European Union wants to make Turkey a member or not. Fidan acknowledged that Turkey's journey towards EU membership has been a long-standing issue. He emphasized that lessons is being learned by examining both the past and present of the matter. He said, quote-unquote, we are working diligently on new approaches, considering what new parameters, discourses, and policies can be brought to the table. Drawing attention to the crucial decision that the EU needs to make, Foreign Minister Fidan underlined the fundamental question, saying, quote-unquote, does the European Union want to make Turkey a member or not? A U.S. military base in Syria's Deir ez-Zor province came under drone attack from Iranian-backed groups, local sources said Monday. Iranian-backed groups stationed on the western bank of the Euphrates River attacked the Al Omar oil field, where U.S. forces are stationed with multiple kamikaze drones. No casualties have been reported. The U.S. began carrying out airstrikes Friday against the Quds Force of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, and Iranian-backed militias in Iraq and Syria, after a suicide drone attack killed 3 American troops in Jordan last month. The strikes were conducted with numerous aircraft, including long-range bombers that launched from the U.S. Central Command, said in a statement. In all, more than 85 targets were hit with more than 125 precision munitions. The Iraqi government said at least 16 people were killed and 25 injured in the U.S. attacks. Since the beginning of the year, bases where U.S. forces are deployed in Syria have been attacked at least 5 times with rockets and kamikaze drones of unknown origin. Deir ez-Zor is under occupation of the U.S.-backed PKK-YPG terrorist organization, while the city center and other rural areas are under the control of Syria's Bashar al-Assad regime and Iranian-backed groups. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said that they do not perceive any military threat from Russia directed towards a NATO member country. In an interview with German ARD television, Stoltenberg has made a statement on NATO's future perspective. Regarding claims that if Russia wins the war in Ukraine, it will attack a NATO member country, Stoltenberg said, quote unquote, "We do not currently perceive a military threat against a NATO ally." The Secretary General noted that NATO has significantly been strengthened in recent times, adding, quote unquote, "Peace does not happen on its own, for sure. Although we do not see an imminent threat, we have made substantial investments in our defense. We have increased readiness levels and the strength of our armed forces. We have restructured a combat unit for the first time in history. This is the most significant strengthening NATO has achieved in a generation." He underlined that NATO has adapted to the new reality that emerged after Russia's illegal annexation of Crimea in 2014. Continues on the English language broadcast of the Voice of Turkey. Former President of the United States, Donald Trump, claims that Israel was part of the operation plan to assassinate Qasem Soleimani, the commander of the Quds Force of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. However, he alleges that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu abandoned the plan just 2 days before the operation. In an interview with Fox News, Trump said that Netanyahu had been a crucial part of the operation against Soleimani for a long time, and they had collaborated on many aspects during the process. Quote unquote, "When we took down Soleimani, Israel was supposed to be doing it with us. 2 days before the attack, they said, we can't do it. Then I turned to our own general and asked, can we do it? He said, yes, sir, we can. It's up to you. I said, let's do it," Trump explained, emphasizing that Netanyahu and Israel were significant parts of this plan. Qasem Soleimani was killed in a U.S. drone strike near the Iraqi capital Baghdad on 3rd of January 2020, escalating tensions between the United States and Iran. In a bold display of discontent, Belgian farmers have launched protests against prevailing agricultural policies, advocating for enhanced conditions in their sector. In a dramatic turn of events, farmers converged to block the route leading to the residence of Prime Minister Alexander De Croo in the Flemish region. The strategic use of tractors effectively barred entry, underscoring the urgency of their demands. Responding to the protests, Prime Minister De Croo engaged in a direct dialogue with the protesters and extended a compelling invitation, urging the farmers to participate in a crucial meeting slated to take place later this week in the capital, Brussels. The meeting aims to address the pressing challenges confronting the agricultural community. The protests concluded without any major incidents, marking a momentary pause in the farmers' expression of discontent. Farmers had previously organized a significant protest on 1st of February during the European Union Leaders Summit in Brussels, where they used over 1,000 tractors to block the city's main roads. In a vivid manifestation of their frustration with existing agricultural policies, in front of the European Parliament building, protesting farmers had resorted to burning leaves and wood, throwing objects such as stones, eggs, and firecrackers into the surroundings. And sports, the final of the 2026 World Cup will be played at MetLife Stadium in New York, New Jersey in the U.S. on 19th of July, FIFA confirmed Sunday. The 82,500 capacity MetLife Stadium is home to the National Football League's New York Jets and Giants, and also hosted the 2016 final of the Copa America football tournament, where Chile beat Argentina. FIFA allocated the opener of the 39-day tournament to Mexico City's Estadio Azteca on 11th of June, and the third-place match will be at Florida's Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens. The 23rd edition of the FIFA World Cup will mark the first time that the world's biggest men's football event will take place in 3 countries, Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. The first ever 48-nation edition of the football event will be staged across 16 stadiums in the U.S. cities of New York, Dallas, Miami, Kansas, Houston, Atlanta, Los Angeles, Philadelphia, Seattle, San Francisco, and Boston. Mexico's Monterrey, Guadalajara, and Mexico City, alongside Canada's Vancouver and Toronto, will also host the tournament. And that was the news and sports brought to you by the Voice of Turkey.